In the lower level of the Nevada Library, you will find the Bushwhacker Museum. Will Tollerton, the museum coordinator, explains what the museum has to offer.
This is local history, and we cover the entire history of the county from the earliest days with the Osage Indians, who were the Native American tribe here. Then the first European settlers came in the early 1800s, the settlement of the county, founding of the county officially in 1855, and on up through the Civil War period, late 19th century, the development of agriculture, railroads, the state mental hospital, and into the 20th century. Well, Bleeding Kansas is the time period referring to the years 1854 through 1861, just prior to the Civil War. And it was a time when there was a big struggle in the United States, and specifically in Kansas, over whether the state of Kansas would enter the Union as a slave state or a free state. There were Northerners moving in who wanted to be a free state, and Southerners, especially Missourians, who wanted to be a slave state. And fighting eventually broke out, and several dozen people were killed over the next several years in battles and skirmishes between the opposing sides. The Bushwhackers were the pro-Southern Confederate Allied guerrillas during the Civil War. Once the Civil War gets started in 1861, they were sympathetic with the South, and they fought against the Union soldiers and Union sympathizers in Kansas and Missouri. The Bushwhacker term predates the Civil War, and it had a pretty negative connotation, meaning basically, a highwayman, someone who, jumped out of the bush and robbed people or shot them or killed them along the road as they traveled. This museum focuses on local history. There are national themes that are going to be recognized, such as the Civil War or Native American experience, but every place has its own story, and it's unique. And you're going to hear stories here about individuals and events that you're not going to read about in history books, probably not going to see on the History Channel. It's going to be a very, very local specific, really bring the stories to life of the people who lived here centuries ago. And you might be surprised about the history that took place in your own backyard.
Although many of the bushwhackers and Kansas Jayhawkers became regular soldiers, some continued as guerrilla fighters throughout the Civil War so that they could remain close to home. The Civil War left its mark in Missouri and Kansas and still is remembered today. For CAPS 13 News, I'm Barrett Young.